Welcome back, coaches. This is the Football Coaching Podcast. I'm Daniel Chamberlain, co-host, here with Joe Daniel, as always.
What's up, Coach?
Coach, it's another fantastic week. Football season is upon us.
Yeah.
This comes out in 2 weeks, and everyone will be at least their scrimmage, maybe.
High school wise, yeah. A lot of our middle school youth will still be waiting, but high school wise, yeah, I think we'll all be getting into scrimmages and getting ready for first game. Some of y'all will already be in your first game. I'm always amazed, like, how early some places start. Georgia starts super early, it feels like.
Yeah.
My kids went back to school last Thursday.
Yeah, we'll be back in school. Teachers go back. So this is first week of August right now. Teachers go back like next week, which didn't used to be. We talked about last episode. Didn't used to be the case in Virginia. It used to start first day of school was always day after Labor Day. So I'm glad I got out because I don't need to be going back at August, 8th or something like that. Going back to work. This summer just started.
Right.
Although I'm back at, summer is over. Like my wife's going to Bethany with her family, Bethany Beach, Delaware, to see her family in a week. I guess about the time this is coming out. And she's like, "What are you going to do?" And I was like, "What do you mean?"
Football, sweetie.
I don't understand your question. I probably got a scrimmage that Friday night. I'm not going to get in the car and drive to Delaware on Saturday and come back on Sunday.
Right.
Sorry
about you. Football season's real, and it's here.
It's here.
I think all of our area, the practices start in Oklahoma the 12th, and then school starts like the 14th. So you get like two days now for two-a-days, which almost nobody runs two-a-days anymore.
No.
Everybody runs like really long one practice.
I don't do that. I don't do any of that either.
Yeah.
We do have longer. Our practices are a little longer right now, but we're multiple things. We're meeting, weight room, but also this time of year we have lightning, hurricanes. So the odds of a 5-day week, we can schedule 5 3-hour practices. I don't think we have that schedule at all, but let's say that we scheduled 5 3-hour practices. We would be fortunate to get 12 hours of that total, right? It's just not happening. With heat, between not going on the field for heat, we have to push. So we've had to push a couple of them back to 6. We've had lightning shorten 1. We've got a hurricane coming. So
we're getting hit right now by it.
You're getting hit right now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
East Coast.
Dad said Georgetown was real bad, but on the where he's at, Surfside was fine.
Good. We're getting the outer rim.
It
hasn't moved up to where we're at. We're right above it though. And we got about 2 to 3 inches today. So.
Yeah. I think there was a discussion today about what we're going to be able to do as it comes up.
Well, it's good to be planning ahead and not just having a schedule and when it doesn't work, having to cancel or something. That's
right. Yeah.
Oh, we better stick to that original plan from 6 months ago.
Right. Yeah. Now you should all. I mean, anytime you're planning a football season, just go ahead and plan. And this is anything, if you're planning, I'm not somebody that's on time, but if I wanted to be on time all the time, you leave, whatever. What's the percentage? 30% earlier, 25% earlier, or something like that. If you want to be on time, then you think it's going to be, and then you have a chance of actually being on time all the time.
Gotta trick yourself.
Yeah. Right. But just in general, that also is accounting for traffic and things. It's it doesn't account for that one time where it's just an absolute disaster. Right. I can't leave an hour and a half early every single time.
Right.
But assuming that it's just a minor traffic. So here, the worst part right now about practicing at 5 or 6 o'clock is I'm on I-95 at 5 or 6 o'clock every day. I can't wait until the teachers go back to school and I'm on I-95 at 2 o'clock. That's a little bit easier than
drive.
Going. No, I don't know if it's going to be 35 minutes or 45. It's been 55 a few times, so I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready for 2 o'clock.
The not having to worry about going to all these teacher meetings has definitely been different. They're all talking about going to getting their professional development and all that, and I'm just like, when does practice start? 'Cause none of that matters to me.
Yeah.
The non-teacher life. We'll see if I can stay out of teaching, but as of now. Well, good. Well, we came to talk about the newest.
By the way, Ron McKie's here with us.
Oh, Ron,
Hey,
you just started
guys.
talking, and I forgot. I forgot to do the introduction.
It's okay.
Ron
I'm glad
McKie.
to be back. I got to ask,
Glad to
Joe.
have you on.
Am I one of the top ones that have over the years that keep coming back?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good
I
feeling.
would say probably the top, other than
Heck yes.
Daniel. He's been on the
Other
most.
than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't count, man.
No.
you destroy me when it comes to that.
Well, Nate may still be the original co-host.
Yes.
Nate Allbaugh may still be in the lead for most, other than Daniel. But that's you would be the next. You'd be
Top
the
three.
first.
That's
You'd be the
fine.
highest non-co-host.
Give
There we go.
me the bronze, baby. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah. Hey,
Olympic season. How about that?
get on the just get on the podium. Get on the podium.
That's fine. That's all I want.
So we first want to do our level up before we get into the topic. Topic tonight is, I'm sure you can tell by the title of this podcast, is we're talking some college football 25 after
Yes.
what
11 years.
11 years? I was going to say 11, 12 years of sadness and trying to buy PC versions of revamped of whatever else. We finally have the new game. The helmets are new. They look great. But we want to do our level up first before we get into that.
Yeah.
So, Joe, I give you the floor.
Okay, this has nothing to do. Like I don't even know if this counts as a level up, but I've enjoyed it. I used to read a lot of comic books, and I haven't lately. But I decided that I wanted to get. I like that. I like that story. Like getting the story. So I've read a lot of comic books, especially Marvel, because of the Marvel Unlimited app, and I could just get everything.
Oh, that's nice.
And but I had one that I had just never read, and I had never read Planet Hulk, which is the one that kind of Thor Ragnarok is kind of loosely based on. It's actually Silver Surfer and not Thor, but it doesn't matter. I finally read that, and it's great. And I'm happy that I finally got around to reading Planet Hulk. That's my level up. It's very good. Anybody who hasn't. Marvel Unlimited app, $10 a month. You've got every Marvel comic that was ever made, except for the last 6 months. If you have any interest at all, it's a good time. It's a good time. So that's my level up. Just taking some time to read something that's not football, not business, just fun.
I'm a huge Big Bang Theory fan.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
So MASH is my go to sleep show for the last. Wow. I started watching it in 2012, and I've watched MASH every day of my life since 2012 that I physically possibly could. Sometimes I leave my computer at home for a weekend, and like I do 2 days, but for years I've been watching MASH at night. Big Bang Theory came out, and we bought it we have Vudu, which is now owned by somebody else, so I bought the whole series, and I bet we've burned through it like 5 or 6 times, and that's my day show now. Like that's how boring my life is at home. It's Big Bang Theory is playing, and then I go to bed and MASH is playing. But I said all that to say, like, I'm highly intrigued by the idea of going and getting into a series of comic books, but I'm also, like, I've become a connoisseur of things. So then I would need all of the series of every comic book like they have on Big Bang Theory. Probably not all the Toys and Chaos. Like, that's a little too nerdy for me. But I do comic book stories. I just don't own any of the comics.
I've read all of X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, all the way up to about 2012. What was that? Avengers vs. X-Men, I think it was. I was thinking 2011, 2012, maybe a little later than that. I've read all of that. I've read all of Spider-Man up to about 2018. I've read a lot of Daredevil, but not all of it. Early Daredevil's a little bit tough. I love from not Michael Bendis, but before that, what's his name? From Clerks, Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith did and so starting with that, and I was just interested in that, and I started with that and that whole run. Daredevil's great. I love Daredevil. I've read most of the newer stuff, and I tried to get into Fantastic Four, struggled with that. What was the other one? And then nothing else is really Iron Man, Captain America. None of that's really clicked for me. Most of Hulk hasn't, but yeah. I actually was watching the X-Men 97,
That's a
which is
great show.
great. Yeah, which is
Great
great,
show.
and that kind of got me like, all right, I'm ready to get back into some comic books. So, but yes, I'm the exact same. Like I had to go back and start, especially because I love the X-Men. I haven't read like every little offshoot because there's a billion different X, but I had to go back and start with number 1 from the 60s, which is tough, by the way, because they're wordy. Like they take, like I'll blow through these Hulk comics in 5 minutes, right? These are 2006, I think, maybe later. But like you go back to a 1960s Silver Era, like they're wordy. These
The
kids
whole panel.
Yeah, these kids were reading big words back in the day. Like, so
that's funny. Yep. My level up, man, there can be a billion of them, I guess. It's been a crazy, I think, has it been a week since we recorded or 2?
a week. I think, yeah, week, yeah.
I started so my consulting business side for football is slowly gaining traction. And then of course being in the military, I get into a lot of those groups. But I had a military member who's also a youth head coach this year. He's emailed me before about information like a couple of years ago or something, and just about his journey and questions he has about being in the box on Friday nights and trying to help those guys. And so he got into the Patreon and we just sat down and had like an hour and a half long talk. And then we've been, just talking ball. And so I guess that's really my level up, is just what I did to get better this last week was just help someone else get better, and it continues. Tyrell Shelley is a guy that he's been on the other podcast at least once. And I don't know if we've ever brought him on here or not.
No.
But he's very, very young in his coaching career and has never learned anything but linebackers. And so, he's been kind of like under my wing for a couple of years. And so it's been a lot of fun to like watch him grow and teach him things. And so now doing that for I guess an outsider has been really neat. So if you guys haven't already, reach out to me on one of those platforms that I'll plug later, because I have thoroughly enjoyed my time just looking at someone else's stuff and going, nope, dude, you're good. Like you're not doing anything crazy. And that's about the end of my consulting. That's what it takes sometimes. No, you're on the right track. Do that.
Keep
Sometimes
going.
that's all you need.
All right, Ron.
A lot of people just need validation. Just we're
For
on the
sure.
right track. Yeah.
Hey, well, in the social media age that we're in, and Joe, you and I have seen it with Athletic Speed Movement. Like there's a ton of people out there, and they all have a program that probably works, and it just depends on the percentages of how well it works, I guess, right? But how are you ever going to find that out by reading advertisements on the internet? You're not, because they're all going to lie and make themselves sound good.
It's not
And
a
so
lie. They are good, some of them.
Right. And so it's really hard to go out and just be yourself as a coach, because you have people from all over the place telling you how wrong you are. You got to run power counter. Well, maybe I'm really good at coaching outside zone. How do you know? Right? Maybe my kids fit zone block. You don't know. So picking a thing and going with it and learning it and coaching it because you know it is just as successful as, hey, you better run gap scheme with RPOs because Nick Saban said that's the hardest RPOs to stop is gap scheme. Better pair those two together because a coach said it was great. I don't know. Just do whatever you want to do, man. Just get good at something. And so you're right. Some people do need validation that, yes, your methods, the route you pick, the path you're on is one that can be successful. Go make it successful. Ron, what's your level up?
First, I want to run through a wall right there. So thank you. That was great. And I guess for me, it is I have gotten into streaming video games, and as a 40-year-old man, I have had to watch so many YouTubes. I felt old just saying that, to figure out how to configure everything.
On the YouTubes.
You pluralized
YouTubes.
YouTube, so
yeah, and it's
man, I'm 40.
I like it because I'm getting older and I don't want to get set in my ways.
Yeah.
And one way to do that is always to learn, regardless of what it is. And that no matter what, if you're starting something new, you're going to suck in the beginning. But if you keep trying to, it's what we apply on football, get 1% better every single time you do something. And by the end of the year, you'll be so far ahead of where you started that then you can look back. So
yeah,
that's my level up.
There you go. Do new things. Do hard
Yep.
things.
Yep.
And putting
Do
yourself
things
out
that
there.
interest you.
I can't imagine. So look, we'll get into the game here. It has been almost 10 years since I played this game because it was a weird time of life for me. When it quit coming out, it was like, I was like, okay, cool. I'm getting out of college. I have a family. Well, I was dating my wife, I believe. And things were just kind of moving on, right? Like you have to get out of gaming. And so now picking it back up, I am so rusty. And I'm like, what would I do if I wasn't a coach and didn't understand these concepts and like what we're trying to do in the video game? I still throw, it feels like 5 interceptions a game sometimes because I can't read a defense right on a video game. I think they're superhumans, some of those defenders. But
Yeah.
I'm so rusty. I can't imagine streaming it right now. Like I want to try. I want to get into it, but mainly for the tax write-off on my Xbox, on my business account. But
Well, to be
put
fair to
myself out
me,
there is tough.
you know, they say you need 10,000 hours to be an expert at something. I have accumulated more hours than 10,000 when it comes to playing sports games. That's all I do. My freshman year in college, I was playing linebacker, and you know, you couldn't get a job. I had no money. All my money was going to the school or whatever. So I put myself and made some extra scratch hustling dorms on NCAA football.
Nice.
I'm dating myself, but this is when Eli was at Ole Miss, and Miami was really good in Ohio. So everyone would choose Miami or Ohio, and I would come out here with Ole Miss 5 wide and just dot them up over and over again. And I made enough that I could afford Taco Bell whenever I wanted.
Word. Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Let's pay the bills, and then we'll get into where we were when the bad news came out.
Yeah.
Yo.
Check out JoeDanielFootball.com/rules. 40 Coach Simple rules for football coaches who want to win more games. You can jump in there, and you're going to find 40 different things that I think are little tips, tricks, tactics, strategies that you can use to win a football game. There are things like our Coach Simple philosophy, non-negotiables for each position, practice planning, drill planning, all sorts of things that are going to help you be a better football coach. Just go to JoeDanielFootball.com/rules.
Awesome. For me, guys, check out ChamberlainFootballConsulting.com. You can also hit me up on the Patreon. There's a few tiers there with increasing levels of how much access you have to talk to me, really. Do you want to talk once a week or once every other week or be on my social media app, Marco Polo, which is really cool, by the way, if you don't use Marco Polo.
Never heard of it.
So it's like, okay, so all the kids use Snapchat, right? And like you take a picture and you have to type, or you can do a short video.
Sounds like a trip to jail.
And it disappears. That. Right. Snapchat's the devil. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't want anything. I don't want any part of that. Sounds like something go horribly wrong on that.
Marco Polo is like a messenger service, but it's all video. I think they may have added texting now, but the video stays. Like there's no deleting it, and it doesn't disappear after a few seconds. So a lot less weird stuff. But you can keep. I mean, I guess I think they have a premium now to keep it longer than 6 months. But you get 6 months of like your group chat, but it's in video form. And so me and a few coaches from around here, including Coach Shelley, and then the youth coach I was talking about earlier, he's jumped in there. And so we can just talk about football things. You can quickly take a picture and a video of a formation. How do you defend this, guys? And draw it up, which you could do with text, but it's just another version, right? It's just all social media can be done on text. We just don't do it that way. So
It's not cool.
Jump on Patreon. Same thing, Chamberlain Football Consulting. Where are you at, Ron? Plug your stuff.
Since we're talking about NCAA football, check out Coach Ron McKie on YouTube. I do football breakdowns. I try to bring the real world football strategies and match it as realistically as possible in the game. I'm too old to do meta crap. I don't know if y'all have seen the guys that are playing like in these championship games. They come out one formation and they hot route everybody.
Right.
And I can't do that. My fat fingers have lost the ability to do that.
It is. I watch some of the videos and stuff, and I see dudes just creating a route concept, and I'm like, and I'm like, bro, flags fly. I
have a brand new system, brand new out of the box. I have pretty quick internet, which doesn't matter because I play one player stuff only right now. But
yeah,
the graphics are so delayed. I don't know how you do it that fast. Like, what are they doing? What settings do they have? Because my guy's like, yelling to get one dude to change his route, and then he doesn't do it anyway. Like, what's going on here?
I don't know.
They glitch it. It's like playing Mario 64. They just glitch through a wall and bam, there's Bowser and it's over.
Done.
That's actually probably more like Ocarina of Time. I think you can do that. I'm not sure though.
Ocarina of Time. Well, good deal.
That's too nerdy.
No, I love it.
I played it.
I
played it. I just
don't know that I ever.
I love which one.
Speedrunners.
Joe Daniel is a football coach who's a power lifter and everything like this. And, that's one side you project. But then also I love seeing that you like comic books. You're diving into it. You're referencing Zelda. I love it. That's why I'm laughing. No judgment on my over here, man, at all.
I got a lot of ADHD going on, so I got to find new things.
Look at this. Yeah, same here, man. Same here.
I just need something new to do.
Phil, let me get that dopamine hit, and it'll wear off in 3 weeks, and I'll be on to the next thing.
I'll go on to the next thing. Oh, those wood carving tools are still sitting in the box. It was a glorious 3 weeks, and then my wife said, "I'm allergic to this, and you can't do it in the basement. You're gonna have to go outside." And it was in the middle of winter, and I said, "Well, wood carving's over.
That's done."
Yep, that was a good time. I'm glad I didn't order the real expensive knives.
Right. So yeah, let's just jump right in here. Favorite parts of the game. What are you doing? When you log in? What's the thing you go to? And Ron, you're the guest. We're gonna let you get started first, man.
This is the first time, so I have a gripe with EA, and let me put my tinfoil hat on, okay? Buddy of mine just moved next door. He has PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3. He has all the NCAA footballs. We were like, hey, NCAA 25's coming out. You're my lifelong best friend. Every day or every other day, let's play each year. And leading up to 25, we had it all planned out. Yes, nerd. In those games, you could use whatever team you wanted with whatever playbook you wanted.
Yeah.
Going online. That I was like, yes. So leading up to it, I was like, hey, I can't wait to run the flex bone with Alabama just to do it. You can't do that online. Whatever team you pick, that's the playbook.
Really?
And so that makes me mad because they touted having the Leach air raid. Like as a homage to him, they have his names for his formations, the names for his plays. It's like his playbook. So I wanted to take that online. You can't do it unless you play cut, which is how EA makes all of their money. Fantasy, it's like cards. Never played it before. Okay? It's really who has the bigger pockets. So I'm going online so I can play with these playbooks that I want, and I think it's College Ultimate Team.
Yes.
But my dudes are like 80s because I'm not spending any money on gambling. And I'm going against dudes that have like 95 cards. And it's like running my head against the wall, but it's also fun when the scheme actually works and they don't know what they're doing. So that's where I'm addicted to right now is a cut.
That's how they've been doing Madden for years, right? Like they started with the Madden Ultimate Teams. And I'm the same way. I'm not spending a dime. Like I'll grind out some of the little challenges and stuff, but even some of them are ridiculous, right? Like some of those are way too hard, and you're not getting a 99 plus. Just give it up. Like if I find a 90 out there, I'm happy, and I do that. But I've not even gotten into that on this game because it's just too. I was like,
the only reason why I do it is because
give you $100 for this game or something. Like
yeah, and then I have to pay to play, and I just want to run the air raid with it. That's it, really. So that is why I have to play it this way. And if I want to do the veer and shoot, I'll go on Road to College Football and play as Tennessee.
Yes.
And just sling it around.
Joe, what are you doing? Where you just got started like a week ago or something, right? Like,
I got it. So the day that I got it on what was that Friday? It came out at midnight, and I was exhausted. So I was like, I'm gonna stay up and I'm gonna do this. And then at like 12:30, I was like halfway. I think I talked about on the podcast. I was Georgia against Georgia Tech, and I was up like 35-3, probably playing on like JV level or whatever. And I was like at halftime, and it was 12:30, and I'm exhausted. So I was like, all right, that's it. Turned it off, and the next day we go on vacation. So that's it. And I played like a half, and I think I might have played one game or something like that, and then go on vacation. So I was gone for a week, and I just got back to play in it, I guess Sunday night or Monday. And so yeah, I'm just a weekend. I've finished one season of a dynasty, which is, I mean, it's been a week, so that's not bad. It's a good pace.
It's decent.
And and I mean, that's, I'm getting like you mentioned, I play a lot of video games, but I haven't been playing Madden at all. I think the last sports game that I really played, I've played MLB and all that stuff, but just here and there. The last one that I really got into was probably NHL a couple years ago. And so, and I got pretty into that, but I don't really play online. I had a bad experience. It was about 2013. I had gotten out of gaming. I was an adult now, and I was alone. I was living alone, and I said, I want to get back into gaming. The only thing I had was a Wii. And I think I went and tried to buy like college football on Wii when I was trying to get back into it. And I was like, this is trash garbage. I got to go. So I went and got a 360 and I got Madden for it. And I went online and like you said, Ron, when I was in college, me and my buddies played the I believe it was the original one. It might've been 2002. We had a PlayStation 2. It had just come out the year before, something like that. So my senior year, we played the game every day, right? I mean, we probably went through, I don't know how many seasons we went through. And we played each other. I never won a national championship in that dynasty. I lost a couple championship games, but I never won in that group of guys. And I remember going on spring break, going to visit one of my buddies. He went to FAMU. And I went down there. And they had a guy that was the guy, right? I don't remember his name. My buddy remembers. My buddy told me the whole story the other night. Like he remembers the name and everything. And they were like, "Oh, nobody can beat this guy." And I was like, "We'll see." I wouldn't. I don't know. I've never played anybody outside of my little group. And I went down and the guy, I beat him. I mean, I beat him so bad that at halftime it was like pulled plug. And so we were good. And I, play here and there, like late night, playing a game through the next few years. But I went and I hadn't played in a long time, and I went and I got Madden 2013 or something like that. And I went online and I was like, let's go. Well, I'd never played online. Like this is something that happened while I was away. And I think an 11-year-old cussed me and beat me 56-0 at the half and called me trash. And I really haven't been online since, I just, this is something I don't. So I'm just playing my dynasty. I'm San Diego State. We'll talk about this. I think we should talk about this later. But one of the things that upsets me is, at the end of my first season of my dynasty, I got job offers to be the OC at Arkansas or I won the Mountain West. I went 1-4 to start and then kind of start figuring the game out. Okay. I got a job offer to be the OC at Arkansas, or I got a job offer to be the head coach at Purdue. So I came upstairs and I sat my wife down and I said, we got to talk about something.
No way.
And I said, here's our options. And I said, we can stay in San Diego, beautiful weather. And she's just like, she didn't care. And I don't understand. Like, how could she not care about this?
It's dynasty, wife.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the right thing and talk to my family about it. Like, I don't just want to make a decision. We stayed in San Diego just for another year.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Good choice.
I mean, yeah. Certainly, I don't want to go to Arkansas. I'm still waiting on. I'm waiting on it. And nobody wants to live. Purdue. Nobody wants to go there.
No.
So
Who
just
they
another
had?
year at San
Drew
Diego
Brees,
State.
and that was it. That was like 25 years ago.
Yeah, I just couldn't. Well, they had Chase Daniels, right?
That was
He's been in the
Missouri.
NFL.
He was
Wasn't
Missouri.
Who's Missouri? What's the
Gets
difference?
spanked by OU.
Not
Okay.
much.
Okay.
One's a little bit colder than the other.
Yeah, I thought Chase Daniels was okay. All right, we're not related. He has an S.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So do you in
You
a
don't
lot of
have an
times.
S I always say Joe Daniels.
No, I don't have an S. No, unless I possess something. I always like to explain to people Jack Daniels is apostrophe S too, by the way. We
Right.
actually have the same last name.
His whiskey.
Yeah, it's his
bourbon.
in possession of Jack. Yeah. So his name is actually Jack Daniel. Yeah. No,
Is that
I really
the
should
relation?
buy Joe Daniels football. That is like the most common. That's like the second most common way people find my website is by Googling Joe Daniels football. I really need to. Somebody probably owns it or something, but yeah, I'll discuss that with my wife
You
too.
never know.
Discuss that one.
Maybe she'll care
God.
more
Maybe.
I think her lack of caring was your answer, that
I
she
know.
didn't want to move.
She didn't want to move. I wouldn't want to leave San Diego either. And we had a good thing going. You know, we had a really solid end of the season, beat Colorado State. I mean, it was, yeah. And it was the right
The
decision.
ball's rolling.
Yeah, it was the right decision. We knocked off number 10 NC State to start the year. So I'm happy. Made the right decision. Anyway, go on, Daniel. What do you like to do in the game right now? Besides discuss, career decisions with your wife.
My wife. I also am a dynasty guy.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, it is a lot to do with the internet down here. So I have always grown up in Podunk, Oklahoma, and we have not had I've never been in a place where I had really good internet. And so if I logged on to play, other people's characters, their football players were what might be like half an inch on my screen, and they were really 5 yards over there already. So there was no, if every pass is an interception, every run is a tackle for loss. I also probably wasn't that good at the game because, I was a kid back then.
Right.
But so I'm the same way. I don't get on and play. I could probably go on there and hang with people of my same skill group, but you don't ever know. Like, I don't know.
Does it match you by your skill group, or do I just get thrown in with like Ron?
I'm sure it's like your overall stats or record or something.
Well, it ain't
The
good.
way it's set up is it's a tier system. So if you win, you start as a freshman, I think, or a recruit. And if you win a certain amount, then you move up. So as you get higher up, the tougher the opponents. So probably coming in late is actually better because since everyone's had the game
They'll already
for so
be
long,
gone. Yeah.
they'll already be up there.
See,
And I get in sweaty games too.
Right.
Like, I'm an average player to below, but I don't get blown out. It's always to the end, and these are my shooter games type things.
That's the problem. Okay, you brought it up right there. I am a Call of Duty guy. Like, that was my generation's online play. I will jump in a lobby with anybody on Call of Duty. Like, I'm nerdy enough. I was in a semi-professional Call of Duty group. Like, we were trying to get paid playing a game, right?
Nerd.
For sure.
Esports,
But
love it.
before that was a thing, before they were cool. But I will wreck people at Call of Duty, but there are people that never played that game, and they were over there doing Madden and learning all the little. It's not even that they're good at the game; they just know the tricks, right?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Just like Call of Duty, if you know the tricks, you're actually a lot better than a guy who can shoot the gun really accurately or use camouflage the way it's supposed to be used, or cover, or whatever. And so it's kind of the same thing. So I don't ever play online.
I've never played Call of Duty. I just downloaded it because it's on Game Pass. I just downloaded. Was it Modern Warfare 3, maybe 2, 3, whatever.
It's gotten really weird. Like, I don't even know where the lines are. Once they're doing, like seasons and upgrades the game.
Yeah, well, and I downloaded the campaign. Like, I'm not going online. I wasn't even good at Bond. So like, we're not. Right. Yeah, like if I wasn't good at Bond on the 64, like this ain't gonna go well.
So yeah, I've been doing Dynasty. I have probably. This is kind of sad to say. Obviously, I'm sitting at home right now, nothing to do. Right, you go practice, you come home. So I'm probably pumping out like a season a day right now. It's okay. We talked about earlier, right? I'm just playing offense and simming defense because nobody's playing defense in this game, surely.
I like defense.
I get wrecked.
I'm playing the computer, and I'm still on like varsity level right now. We're just getting to a point where I can blow out varsity level every time, so it's time to move up.
Yeah. I finally got there in my dynasty. Like, my overall is like 90s. The players are actually good. My lineman can hold a block. It's wild. Like, it is time for me to probably move on beyond varsity. But that freshman level, you get on there and play defense, and you might get scored on. Like, it should be a shutout, man, and it's not. The computer.
Oh no, you're not getting a shutout. Absolutely not. No,
the computer's mean.
No, you're not getting a shutout, and it feels like you're playing some like old school racing game, right? Where like I'll go, the last game that I played, I went up 21-0, and I was like, all right, and I think it was the NC State. NC State was ranked, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna boat race this team, and then it's like rubber band, like mechanic, just they catch one, break 3 tackles, gone. Another one, like I get a pick that's just like jumped from like I'm like what's show me the numbers on that corner. And like all of a sudden things just unravel and you're like, how did this happen? Like I was just and like I love to throw RPOs, and I can look and I'm like, this is going to be open. All of a sudden it's not. I'm like, what happened? And I just, so it does feel like there's a little bit of a like, the computer will sometimes just turn the tables and at a certain level.
I'm not sure what it is either. So I just stick with the varsity level right now. Like I said, I'm working through seasons. I'm working through the recruiting was kind of hard to get a hold of in the beginning. Like you can't figure out. It never explained the mechanics, but I think I figured it out where you're kind of landing who you think you can, how to increase your what they call it, pipelines or whatever. Like there's tiers of the pipelines. Once you start figuring all that out, it's good. But before then, it was
go. I haven't touched Dynasty.
Oh,
I'm
brother,
straight.
No
online.
recruiting. So you've done no recruiting, huh?
I play the game because online it's like back when I was in high school playing with my buddy on the couch.
Yeah.
And no, I don't feel like recruiting.
I feel like my biggest disappointment right now is that all my buddies that I used to play with were like, oh man, the game's coming back. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm downloading it and they're like, oh, you mean I can't play this on a 360? And I'm like, these guys ain't played a game in like 10 years. They're like, no, seriously. They're like, I can't play this on Xbox One. And I'm like, no, you can't play this on Xbox One. Get out of here. So I'm trying to get them to trying to get a couple of them to buy a Series S. You can get a Series S pretty cheap. And get, the only problem is I got the Xbox version. I would have gotten the PlayStation version, but I know none of them are buying a PS5. So I'm like, maybe I can get them to buy a Series S kind of cheap, and we can do like I would love to get a Dynasty with them because I don't think you can cross-play Dynasties.
No.
If I understand right, you can't cross-play Dynasties. So it's the only thing that sucks is like I was looking forward to playing with the guys and getting the Dynasty going, and it's like they're all just so far out of gaming now, and I'm like I own every console. I play a lot of I play a lot of games. So I was kind of disappointed that they didn't get into it, but I'm having fun with the Dynasty. But the recruiting, I like the recruiting. It took, like you're right, Daniel. It took a little bit to get the, and I just try to get as many. With San Diego State, it's like 2-star is kind of your cap, and I'm just trying to get any 3 and 4 stars. I don't want 2 stars. I don't want anything to do with them. I can just it doesn't matter. There's the difference between 70 and 75 it doesn't matter to me. I want 80s. So
I figured out today an issue I've been having is like I get into every season and I have like 8 freshmen that are 60 through 68. And I'm like, I didn't recruit these. Where are they coming from?
Oh, they just fill out your
If you don't hit your needs at any position, they fill it in with 0 stars.
Yeah.
And so I'm landing 7 5-stars.
Yeah.
But I'm doubling up in positions I really don't need them. And a bunch of 4 stars, but I don't go down to the 3s. I had given up on 3 stars. But then I found out today, I was like, oh, that's what this is it's literally giving me these like 1 and 2 stars to fill in needs. So you got to be careful, or at least
that's always been the case. I mean, that's always been the case. If you didn't fill out, they just give you trash.
Yeah, I forgot. And then you can't cut them, right? There's no cutting them.
No.
You can ask them to transfer.
Yeah, you can't even force them into the transfer portal.
Don't you think
you play more than FCS, buddy? Go play for FCS East.
Right. No. Although they're pretty
tough. Yeah.
Anyway. So Dynasty's the go. I hope the cut doesn't take off because I'm tired of games produced like I don't know what developers taking us for our money. Because it feels like the rest of the game doesn't get the attention because they're just constantly making all these new cards. Like
what is the Ron, what is the strategy? What is the online strategy? Like, what do you like? Is there like what? I remember years ago, I did get into Madden a little bit, and it was like everybody was straight cover 0, and I don't remember what year it was, but everybody was cover 0, and there's like a couple things. Like, what's the strategy like that people are using online?
Right now, it's they call it. It's out of the nickel package, double A gaps, blitz, straight man on defense. I'm guilty of that because it works so well. And then offensively, they most of it's running like at a bunch, tight bunch. It's all the big time guys and everybody online did was there was a playbook in Madden 24, Philadelphia. Everybody ran it. It was the meta offense, so everyone was looking for it, and I think it's in either Alabama or Texas, so everyone runs that. And but that's what makes the game fun, because they're coming out here. I see this offense over and over again. I know what everybody's trying to hit, so I can use my knowledge, especially with the switch stick. Like if they keep hitting this corner, well, I'm going to go to the corner, and then I have a flat over here, which I think this is cool. I'm nerding out. I'm quickly going to flip the stick to become the flat guy, the cornerback or the outside linebacker, and then pick the ball off. And that's fun. And then when they have to defend me, I'm coming out running straight up the air raid or the veer and shoot. And y'all know with the veer and shoot, it's so wide you can't even see the camera angles.
No.
Yeah.
It's hard to even read your RPOs because you don't know.
No, it's so easy because now
I just assume if I don't see that guy on the screen, it's not open.
Yeah. Or if he's in the middle of the screen, it's like, okay, if he takes a couple of steps in,
right? Then I read him.
Yeah, it's amazing, and people get frustrated because they're like, "What is this? This isn't what everybody else is trying to run." The rollout, glitchy plays and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
I got torched. This was my strategy for just getting to get good. Right. I was struggling to score. I was getting torched on defense. Of course, I went and watched some YouTube videos. I watched everybody but Ron's. I can't listen to him. I watched everybody else.
I don't blame you.
But you're right. You know what? They are all Madden guys, and they're just talking about translating Madden things to NCAA. And so, one night I was just like, I got to practice, and so I just picked a play, and I don't know if it's a good play or a bad play or what, and I can never even think of the name, slot option or something like that, and I just ran it for like 30 minutes against Wake Forest defense. And I just sat there and I ran it. I got good at the play. So then I go into a game and I ran that and I found a couple run plays that work. There's still the jet sweep that's just always
that's an OP.
And then I had a couple run plays, and then I got good enough to do that. And then I would get up like 3 touchdowns just on that play pretty much. And then I get up like 3 touchdowns and I'd start playing with something else. So then I found a couple of RPOs that worked. I found a couple of play actions I liked in the red zone. But that was how before that I was just getting torched until I just sat down and was like, all right, I got to practice this. I've just got to figure out a play that works, that I can run.
I did the same thing with the new option mechanic. Like it used to be, if you want to hand the ball off, you press A. And if you didn't, quarterback hit. That kicked my butt.
It's still kicking my butt.
I got it pretty good, but when they feather, it is impossible. When that defensive end, because that was a new thing they put in, was he feathers.
God.
I can't. I get destroyed by that. If he attacks or if he sits, I'm good to go. But when he feathers, I don't know what to do.
And you're wrong every time.
No, you're not. No, you're not. The feather animation. Okay, this is my nerdy. When you see the feather, he's feathering and then snapping in. And since I've been making these videos, what I love about doing the videos, not for just coaches like my other channel, but guys that wish they played football, they want to play it as close as possible, they're very appreciative. And then they give you tips. And some guy dropped a comment, was like, hey, think of the option like you do the RPO, where you have to press the button to throw the RPO. Well, now it's you have to press the button to get the quarterback. And once I read that, it light switch. I was like, oh my God, that makes so much sense. And then I love that play, man. I love it in real life football.
Sure.
And I love being able to do it in the game.
For sure. I checked out, I'm looking at your YouTube right now, Ron. It's ridiculous. $2,000. 2,000 subscribers, bro.
Hey, all I do, this is it. Here's a play that you see. Here's some film of that play because I got all 22. I break it down. Here's how you run it in practice. I talk about it. Here's game footage. It works. What I have a lot of fun with now is the 3rd level RPOs. Out of the veer and shoot, you can the bang 8s and the ISO. Oh, I kill people on that.
Yeah,
that's so fun.
I heard you in a Twitter live or something. I don't remember where I saw you. By the way, we got to connect about what program you're using because you're in like everything at once, and it's awesome, and I don't know how to do that yet. But you were on YouTube and Twitter at the same time, I think is what it was, which weirdly enough, I think I can do. Anyway, And you talked about Tennessee's veer and shoot, and I was like, I got to go check this out because I was trying to run, I don't know, probably like the air raid. Well, I'm not an air raid coach. I don't know the air raid. Like, I'm not a veer and shoot coach either, but by God, it makes sense. You're going to run the option.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of fun with it. It's been really good. Those deep option routes are really cheat codes, honestly. When they have option routes, yes, every time. I mean, I've thrown some interceptions to linebacker who can jump 20.
I got a slot. I got this slot option will not do. I got one high safety, and he runs a post. I got basically 0, and he'll run like he won't run the post. And I'm like, is there a place where I can go in and coach him on this? Can I grab his face mask and scream at him? I got to recruit somebody with more awareness. So he's just got bad awareness.
Yes.
Okay.
And then honestly, what I've been doing
in the game, it turns out it's actually really well made. Okay.
It is. And what I do is I pre-snap it. Hey, it's one high. You're going to run a vert. I don't even care. Or a dig, or I'll. That's what I've got.
I always think about it, but I've run the play so much that I just get out there and I'm like snap, and then I'm like, most of the time it works, but every once in a while I'm like, God dang it, why is he? So okay, he has piss poor awareness. Okay, I just need to tell him what to do.
Yeah, there it is. You got to recruit somebody with some awareness.
Yeah.
So we've talked a couple about complaints here, but like, what are your complaints so far in the game? Joe, you're up. You're dynasty like me, so.
Complaints. Do you know
gameplay?
So this is a very minor complaint. But having to hold down A to skip the anime and not just being able to like pop A to skip stuff, like, bro, every single game starts with every single home game. You know, you're in a dynasty. Yeah. Every single home game starts with the same thing. San Diego is a great place to be, and I'm like, just kick off. I don't want any of this. I just want to kick off. And I got to like hold down A, and then it's like telling me about the quarterback.
That everybody's from Alabama.
Just
at least online and stuff. Everybody, when they bring up the little stuff, it's like Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and that's the only place I know of Alabama. So, but it's something Alabama. And it's like, oh, dang, that's a pipeline.
That's my only. I think that's my only complaint that I could. I mean, I'm you know, defense. I mean, obviously defense is hard, but I've gotten to where, and I watched a YouTube video, and this works on Dynasty with Varsity, and I have a lot of fun with it. I watched a YouTube video that was like, you know, on passing downs, grab a linebacker, drop him back 10 yards, and play defense with him. On run downs, grab the free safety, walk him up, play defense with him, and I have so much fun doing that. I get picked off a lot, but I come downhill and like I've got a linebacker that's got like boatloads of tackles because he's just basically playing like a free safety would, you know, playing like a towers thing where I got like a middle linebacker, a low safety and a high safety, and just letting him like essentially run the alley, and these holes open up. And what happens when you move him back, he basically goes out of the blocking scheme.
He does.
So you get to have fun with him coming downhill. So I've had fun with that, even though, you know, the rubber band thing, but just the holding down A, just let me skip this stuff. I'm ready to go. Especially like I'm busy. I usually I'll go down and play like I'll play like 50. I'll work for like 50 minutes and then take a 10-minute break, and I'll try to just like go down and play 10 minutes. And first of all, my Xbox had a thing where it wouldn't quick resume for a little bit, and that pissed me off. But like so then I had to be like back down before it cut off. But I'll try to go down and play, and if I gotta wait to get into it and all that sort of stuff, I'm just like, come on, I gotta go, snap the ball. So that's my only one.
All right, Ron, I know you said you want to be able to use playbooks with every team. So
yes,
although so that already said, what is your next, or maybe that's not your biggest complaint?
No, that is it would be a 10 out of 10 game for me. The next one is pursuit angles. As a former defensive coach and player, I can't stand when it's coming and then all of a sudden the guy just like loops around, and that just irritates me. What I have found though is if you go into the coaching adjustments by clicking the R button, R analog stick or whatever,
Mhm.
in R3 for PlayStation 5 and the right stick. Change everything tackling and strip to conservative. And then when you're going to go tackle them, hold A instead of diving or hitting with the hit stick, and you tackle a lot better.
No,
Ah.
the diving and the hit stick does not.
No,
Hit
they're
stick
bad.
sometimes works. The diving doesn't work. You know, when we used to play back in the day, you just dive and all over the place, and you miss every
Everybody's
tackle
Superman.
that way. Come straight down, hit A, and you're right. And change to conservative also stops you from getting all those freaking face mask penalties too.
The hit stick for me right now, it's like they're trying to tie their shoe real fast. Like their hands go to their feet, and then but they stopped moving. It's like, oh, hang on, gotta tie my shoe, and the guy runs by. Like it's the wildest. There's no hit sticking.
They're not good animations. It's not even worth using. I do it out of habit, but
Yes, yeah. I
It
like all
is.
the kickoffs. I go down and try to hit stick, and I get some fumbles, but a lot of times it's like terrible missed tackles.
kickoff's tough. I don't know about you guys. First of all, my kicker for some reason can't get the ball past the 15. And everybody else's kicker puts it in the end zone. I'm like, San Diego State, just the worst kicker recruiting school in the country. But like, I went for an entire season, and I would catch the kickoff, and if I brought it out, I was getting tackled at the 20. And then I got in a tight game, and they kicked it off, and I was like, here we go. I'm going to start from the 20. And I don't even know what happened. It popped. So I know it can happen. I got through, and I got to like the opposite 20 and scored and won the game. But like for the most part, kickoff is just like you catch it, you run forward, you get tackled. They ain't no.
Yeah,
And see, it's different.
I played the whole.
It's different online.
They pop all
Really?
the time. Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I rescind my complaint.
Against me. I can never pop.
Okay,
them
you're
down.
just bad at
But
coverage. Okay.
Yeah.
The first 4 or 5 games, I didn't know how to use the power meter on kick. So like,
Oh God.
I aim it, I line it up, and because I thought it was the old double click method, and so I click it.
You can change that in the
There's a
settings.
power. Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
So you have to get it in the green, and
Uh-huh.
then click and hold, and then the power meter fills up.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm
that
doing
gr-
wrong. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the gray arrow is a
Yeah.
power meter. When you said that, Joe, I was like, no, I did that too. For
I
a
bet
long
I'm not hitting
time.
the power meter. Yeah. Okay.
So you have to when you.
I
Line
will say field goals are near impossible. Long field goals.
I
are
don't
nearly
kick
impossible.
them.
Yeah.
I don't kick them.
I'll kick a short one, but long ones are just.
And I think it's really neat that they've made the angle of the field goal matter. Like if you're right hash 10-yard line, brother, you have to over aim it because your kicker, even though the arrow says this is going to go down the middle, he'll whiff it right. Like
I aimed the
angle
opposite
fits him.
upright, and I made a few, but yeah. The first couple games, I tried to kick some long ones, some not long, 45-yarders. Ain't happening.
Right. Yep.
Like
Um,
my
they're
hand-eye coordination is done.
No. I watched some YouTube video that was like, you just time it up when it bounces off the thing, and I was like, okay, buddy. Okay. How about I just get the offense back out there?
Go for it.
My biggest complaint, and it's because of the offensive system that I have in a playbook in real life, is you can't alter RPO routes. So it's like I come out and they're running all hitches, and my slot receiver has got nobody on top of him for 15 yards. I want to be able to just tell him like, hey, now this is a fade ball. You know what I mean? So like I know it's an RPO, and if someone runs over and covers it, I will still run the ball. But like that's something as a real life coach that I install is the receiver and the quarterback have the ability to change the RPO route because you don't know what defense you're going to get.
Right.
And so I really wish there was something a little bit better there. So in the gameplay, that's probably besides the defensive thing. Like I don't play defense, so if I played defense, I'd have more complaints. But on offense, that seems to be my biggest complaint.
I really do.
I have really well. We'll get into this last part here because it's. I think we start talking about coaching and teaching football off of this. Last question here is how realistic is this game, and kind of what application of coaching or teaching football can you get out of it? And Ron, I'll let you start here because I know you're doing a whole YouTube channel on it, so I'm sure you have you've already decided this is the way to teach football.
I do. I really do, and I know people, if they're listening this far ahead, is rolling their eyes. I think it teaches two things. One, I really do think coaches should play the game and try to play it as a quarterback and try to pick the playbook that's as close as yours, because everybody runs the same concepts. So the whatever concept you run, it's going to be in there in somebody's playbook. And then watch how, even though you know the progression and everything, how you just throw the ball when it's triple coverage, when you know you shouldn't, and you're just like YOLO. And then maybe you'll have a little perspective of what's going on with the quarterback on Friday nights when he makes a thing. I think that's the easiest way for coaches to walk a mile in their quarterback's shoes. That's the first thing.
I agree.
Because your eyes can only be on so many people, right?
Exactly.
I got into a text / I did a Twitter live talking about linebacker reads, and a DC from a pretty prominent school contacted me and was like, your reads are wrong. And then he asked me how I'm defending double bubble RPO bash GT quarterback counter. And I'm like,
It's hard.
well, I can't stop them all, but your quarterback can't read them all. Right. Yeah. But he was like, oh, well, if you don't hit that, I'm going to hit you over. I'm going to do that. I'm like, okay, fine, guy. I get it. But your quarterback can only look at one guy at a time after he catches the ball. He's got to watch the ball into his hands. So I think it does teach that. You're right, Ron. I didn't mean to cut you off. Keep going.
No. I really do believe that it gives you some perspective. And then the other one, I mean, the defense is kind of good. You can teach basic defense, safety structure, rotation. Now that they put in the rotating, like, hey, this time we're going to get mental reps. When you see too high, then all of a sudden they rotate the 3. Yes. And you can just get that over and over again and be like, okay, this happened, go through your progressions, because I'm going to use the air raid. Let's say we have 95, which is Y cross. We can line up in 2x2, and then I can have him take the mental reps he needs, and he doesn't even have to play it. He can just be like, okay, vert, out, cross, curl, or dig, and you can say, hey, the dig's open right now, or hey, that backside, and just get the mental reps. And I know people are going to be like, that's stupid, but that's stupid on one side, but then when you bring up VR, and I've seen some VRs, it's crazy. And it's like, oh, that's the greatest thing. It's like, that's $1,000. Like a buddy of mine was a coach at Clemson, and I was able to sit in and be the dumbest person in the room. And they were talking about their VR. That thing's like $10,000-$15,000 at Clemson. When I can just spend $70 and sit down and build a connection with my player and teach them football while they play football, and talk trash when I smack them in the mouth because they can't handle the pressure that I bring, because I bring the funk. Sling it and bring it. That's my philosophy.
I love it. The defense structure from the offensive side is really good. Like, there's the right amount of movement. It's not too bizarre. I even like that you can hide, right? If you are playing defense, you can hide your coverage. You can show 3, you can show 2, show 1 high. Like,
and you get it probably doesn't work the same in online, but in as far as playing the computer, you get reward for that. Like, if you get some picks, and you get better coverage if you disguise at the right times. There's little things that don't make sense. Like, if you squeeze the defensive line, if you pinch the defensive line, you have better run defense. And like, that's not reality. Like it's just all of a sudden, like it's like a +10, like across the board. I don't know actual numbers, but it's like all of a sudden, like, guys are just shedding blocks because you tighten down the defensive front because it's
+10.
And if you, I don't
know.
Who's
a nerd now? You pulling out the D&D and stuff like that?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
They get a buff.
For sure.
And it's the same thing, though.
Nerdy,
if you spread the defensive line, which is like, jetting for pass rush, all of a sudden you get a better pass rush. And like, at least I think that you could use that in terms of like, that's not the reality of like, hey, on defense, we're going to pinch, and that way we're going to shop the run. But like, if you make an adjustment because it is a run scenario, or, they're in 22 personnel instead of being in 10 personnel, and you're like, okay, it's probably more likely to be a run, and you make that adjustment, or you make, you play a 4-4 instead of nickel or something. It's like, you do get, it does seem like you get kind of a bonus for that by thinking through what you think the offense is going to do, and then calling things that, while they're not wildly sophisticated, are you're kind of making that play call thought process. It doesn't exactly apply, as a coach, it doesn't exactly apply to what we really see, but just the fact of thinking through, like, all right, it's 2nd and 3. They're in 22 personnel. Like, let's kind of hedge our bets.
Yeah.
I've noticed, I think it's a great teaching opportunity, and obviously for your quarterback, because you can see the entire everything unfolding, and you can count numbers. You could really do it for any position. Like, let's honestly, pre-snap, you can look at the blocking combos on inside zone, right? So you can have a conversation about that, like covered, uncovered, where's your guy? Like, it has pretty neat blocking rules and mechanics.
And the protections are pretty intense. I mean, they're not perfect, but you can do a lot with protections too.
But if you want to just teach numbers, like, do we have numbers in the box or not, right? You can go in and explain why something like zone read works so well. Like, look, we have 5 linemen, a tight end, and the running back is going to run inside zone. Well, buddy, they have 7 in the box. Can we block them all? Well, I mean, if you get in their way enough with a double and you push into a linebacker's, sure, you can cut off a backside guy and take him out of the numbers a little bit. But honestly, no, right? Like, you're running to your death. Okay, well, let's go 1-on-1 up here. Let's block 6 with 6, and I'm going to read 1. And I think the game makes that very evident, because you can even change it, right? You come out in we talked a little bit ago about the zone read plays being kind of hard to, are they feathering, are they not? Ron and I messing up on having to push the button versus not having to push the button, whatever.
I did too. I eventually figured it out, yeah. But I still haven't kicked off to the end zone yet.
Right. But if they come out in a 3-4 and you're spread wide and you've got a zone read play on, well, you don't need it, because they've got 5 in the box. You've got 5 or 6 or whatever. And so you can just change to a regular run play and just beat them with numbers. So I really think it's neat. And I said earlier about the RPOs, I wish I could switch when they're not on top of a guy. It's kind of the same thing there. Like, hey, look out there. Your slot receiver has no one within 15 yards of him. Shoot him a hand sign that says, hey, brother, turn this into a little bit of a fade. The ball's coming.
Yeah.
Right? Look, have a hand signal. This is now a go route. The ball's coming. Let's go. And it's a pre-snap numbers read, like just that space. Where is space? So you can teach a lot of that, I think, from the offensive side at least.
Yeah. And another one that, you mentioned space, but leverage too really does.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got an inside leverage corner, you run an out route, it's going to be open. If he's outside leverage, it's not open. So from that, you can learn a lot about using leverage. And so there are a lot of things. And again, it's not perfect. It's a game. Like, it's but there are a lot of things that you can apply as a coach: space, leverage, numbers, which is what matters in play calling, and defensive too. You align your defensive leverage. If they're killing you with out routes, you line outside leverage, right? You take away the out route. Like, that stuff does matter. And you can use that.
Yeah, for sure. Sweet. We nailed it, gentlemen. 1 hour and 3 minutes recording about college football 25. Honestly, could talk for another hour because it's that good.
Oh yeah. I just wanted to talk to Ron about online stuff, because I haven't done it. Now I feel like I need to go downstairs and fire up the online and go get my tail beat by some 11-year-old.
We need to have a dynasty with all of us and see who's best at recruiting, and we'll leave Ron in the dust for about 3 days.
I'm going to be honest. I would like to play in a dynasty, though. To me, Joe, I know I kid saying you're a dork. This is how dorky I was and nerdy when it comes to football. Okay, please bear with me. And this is how I knew my wife was the one to marry. I was in an online dynasty where it was like a WordPress blog that we would have to keep track of the stats, and then after it was over with, put it in, and then we could write like a little blog newspaper thing, right? This is how I know my wife loved me. Yeah. When I was having my games, she was sitting right beside me, and I was having her keep track of the plays the man was running. I drew a little grid, and I was like, okay, just put it. Was it a run on the left side, in the middle of the right, or pass? And then was it deeper? And then at halftime, I would look, and I would be like, got this guy's. And I was making adjustments, and it was teaching me, when I didn't even know I was going to be a coach, how to make adjustments. Like, he keeps throwing it on the right hash or to the right deep. I'm going to start taking that away, and let's see what he does next. And she sat there, and she was like, I don't know why the hell I'm doing this, but I'm going to do it. And I was like,
my
baby,
wife doesn't even care that I got a head coaching offer.
care
at
where
Purdue.
you're moving. She's like,
Yeah,
I don't
like,
care.
this matters.
Let's talk. One more complaint on the game is that coaching carousel at the end. Okay, once you get in Dynasty, Ron, you're going to get offered the very first week of. Actually, it's before the bowl games, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. I don't even remember my bowl game.
And if you don't take that job offer right then, that's it. You get 1 week. The next week it says coaching carousel, and you see what everyone else is moving, but you get no more job offers.
No, that was it. Yeah, you one shot. One shot.
So if that week you're like, I don't know, I'll think about it next week. Nope, sorry, homie. The coaching carousel does not come back around to you. The gate is closed. You are
Okay.
not.
I mean,
tall
I got
enough to
offered
ride this
Arkansas
ride.
and Purdue. Like, I'm not going there.
Come on,
Hear me out. I
I
have
don't
a
like the
content
weather.
idea.
let's
All
do
right,
it.
and tell me if this sounds good because
I'm in.
I've been thinking about Dynasty recreating Mike Leach's coaching career. Make Mike Leach start out as an OC at Kentucky and see if I can't go to Oklahoma as OC, Texas Tech, Washington State, and then wind up at Mississippi State.
The only issue is like how many years it would take you to get from place to place.
So you can't pick. Like, I don't know. This is me asking.
No,
Am
so
I
you
got to
able
go
to
when
like
you got
get
that
target?
offer because the
You
next year,
generally get like 4 or 5 offers.
yeah, you only get
and
4 or
it'll
5
be-
offers. So like, you can't just be like, yeah, you would have to, like, when you get that offer, you have to take it.
Yeah, I started as the
Okay.
OC with my first Dynasty, and I quit it after 3 seasons because I was like, okay, I got to this point where I couldn't get jobs. Man, I don't even remember where the heck it was. Anyway, some 0-star school. Like, really, I was like, I'm going to rebuild. But they don't offer you the head coaching job because you just made him look really good. And so then he doesn't
Oh,
leave.
yeah.
He stays because you're the OC. Like, being a coordinator on there sucks.
Yeah,
Um,
I haven't done the coordinator. I like
Okay.
being a head
You
coach.
play both sides of the ball unless you choose not to.
I'm the only guy
um,
that's trying
you
to get a Kennesaw State offer.
Yeah.
I get to go back home. I get to go back and live in Marietta. That's all I want to do.
You still have to
Just wanna go
recruit
back home.
both sides of the ball. You're recruiting the points are all the like it's real. They could have done if you're going to put the coordinator job in there. They could have been like you're only recruiting offensive players. You're only calling the offense and force
I
you to
still
watch
have to
the defense.
recruit.
You still got to recruit
people?
defense, but you're only spending your coach level up points on offensive players, offensive recruiting, right? Because you're the offensive coordinator or defense if you're doing it that way.
Absolutely,
If you
nobody
are
is a
a
defensive
masochist,
coordinator.
'cause
Absolutely
Jesus
nobody in
Christ.
that game is a defensive coordinator. Nobody.
Hell no, it's terrible.
I bet you someone is.
Somebody did it
There's
just to
someone.
do it.
Nerds.
But I also found that if you like thinking back now, playing through multiple seasons, I think if you started as a coordinator at a top tier program instead of trying to rebuild, then that low crappy team head coach job comes open and you can go take it and now start your real dynasty after you've built some points. Because
Yeah.
like I said, I'm with Memphis right now. That's where I started my second dynasty. I've been running with it.
Mhm.
We weren't hanging with Alabama in the beginning, but now, and I'm only playing varsity level guys. Some of y'all are way better than me and you're playing to that super stuff. But I'm blowing out number 6 Alabama on varsity with ease. Like it's not even hard. So obviously
Yeah.
I've got to turn up the difficulty, but they were 60-0 on me on varsity 2 seasons ago. So
My only
it is real
concern,
life.
is, and I remember it used to be this way back in the day too, is when you bump up a level, like everything changes and like you get smoked for a
Gotta
little bit.
relearn it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you got to learn like what works now because like stuff doesn't work the way that it used to work. And I don't know that like I can handle that. I don't know if my ego can handle that. And like, what if I get fired and I have to go tell my wife like we got to leave San Diego after we went through all this? I got fired.
Anyway.
Well, hopefully we got
It's
a
too
buyout.
expensive.
Hopefully we get a buy. I don't know what my contract. I don't remember what my buyout would be.
That's funny.
Hopefully you have a nice budget, so if that does happen, you have an emergency fund.
We have an emergency fund. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Good planning.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
All right.
you never
Let's
know.
get out of here before we build all of our life plans on digital coaching. Pay the bills to get us out of here, Joe.
JoeDanielFootball.com/rules. Get 40 Coach Simple rules for football coaches that want to win more games. If you're looking for 1 or 2 tips, tricks, strategies, tactics that you can use that might win you a football game, you get 40 of them, and at least one of them is going to be useful to you, I'm pretty sure. And it doesn't cost anything. It just costs you your email address. Go to JoeDanielFootball.com/rules, enter your email address, and that'll be a nice little beautiful PDF document that we designed with all those 40 Coach Simple rules, and it'll be coming to your inbox. Check it out.
You can hit me up on Twitter at Coach Chambo OK. I'm also doing the YouTube thing. Ron, we're gonna have to get together. I think let's do a dynasty because you're Xbox, right?
I am.
We should all do a dynasty and put it on YouTube. See how many views we can get off.
This game's going to save Xbox, by the way.
Hey, that new Series X is legit.
Oh yeah,
Love it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had the Xbox One X. Mad at it after a couple of years. It's cooking.
Yeah.
Anyway, so look out for that. The people that talk about football online dynasty, maybe we'll see because we all have Xbox. We'll make it
Off
happen.
the top of your head, that's impressive. Round of applause, man.
Thank you.
That was nice.
Thank you. Jump over to Patreon at Chamberlain Football Consulting on Patreon. Give me $10 and let's talk football a lot. And then the last one, no, that's it. Twitter, YouTube, Patreon. Do the things. Ron, where can we find you, boss?
YouTube, Coach Ron McKie, or if you're bored in the morning and you want to hang out and watch me stream football, you can check me out on Twitch at Coach McKie.
So you do Twitch and YouTube at the same time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through OBS.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to stop recording in a minute and we're going to have a conversation. Awesome. What cells are opening or closing, Joe?
TBD. Probably
it.
Game Film Masterclass, but we got some different stuff going on, so TBD.
For sure. Social media, you can find me on Twitter. I already said that at Coach Chambo. Okay. Joe is at Football Info on Twitter. Everything else is Joe Daniel Football.
Yep.
Ron gave you his. The podcast is at the FBCP on Twitter. If this is your first time listening to the Football Coaching Podcast, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. You can find us on your favorite podcatcher. Spotify and Apple Podcasts are the biggest ones. We'd love a 5-star review or thumbs or however they're measuring it. Now we want 5 of them. If we're not 5 of them, let us know why so we can fix it. Ron, thanks for coming on again, brother.
Thanks for having me, man.
It's always fun. I screwed your introduction up, and I almost didn't thank you for.
You didn't screw it up. You just skipped it.
That's fine. I'm a regular. That's what happens.
You're basically a regular. That's right.
Yeah.
If you don't know who Ron is, go back to any of the other episodes that say with Ron McKie and listen to him talk.
He's here.
Or if you love your time and appreciate it, don't do that. Find one of the other amazing podcasts you two have put out.
They usually get off the rails late, though. You can get through in 45 minutes or an hour before it gets completely off the rails, like it is now.
Go find the one where we made Ron talk about the importance of a tight end.
It went well.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Football Coaching Podcast. Remember, coach simple, play fast, win.